here by myself. I mean, I love talking about myself, but I figured I'd give some other people a chance. So what do you guys say we bring out Beth Broderick and Jenna Lee Green? Come on out, ladies.
Give a round of applause. That is a wonderful surprise. Welcome, ladies. Looking fabulous.
I figure we're all here together. We should do this together.
Yes.
Absolutely. Hi, guys.
Round of applause for our impromptu Sabrina the Teenage Witch reunion. Yes. Well, we have Tim from Monopoly Events who is walking around with a microphone. All you have to do is raise your hand, get those questions ready for our celebrity panel. So if you have a question, please raise your hand. But ladies, how have you been enjoying Comic-Con Liverpool so far?
It's been great. I mean, we arrived yesterday. Jenna was here yesterday, but Beth and I arrived together and just did an entire tour of the whole city.
We saw it all. We saw every cathedral, we went to lunch, we saw museums,
Beatles Museum.
Yeah, last night we did the Beatles Museum.
Yeah.
18,000 steps later,
all kinds
finally
of
passed out.
architecture, yeah, we did pass out. But it was really fun. Great town.
Yes. First time in the UK, are you guys familiar with the United Kingdom? You've come here a lot, or?
Been to the UK a few times, but my first time to Liverpool.
Definitely my first time in Liverpool.
Give it up for Liverpool.
We filmed a movie, the Watcher in the Woods remake in Wales, so I spent quite a bit of time in Wales. I actually have two friends here from Wales, Elliot and Sheppy. Hi guys.
Give them a round of applause. Y'all are a rowdy bunch. We've got Tim right over here on the left with a question for you.
Hi, my name's Amy. I was in the cheerleader outfit earlier. I've got changed since. What were your favourite spells on Sabrina?
Goodness. You're assuming we remember that. You're talking about like 1996 here. You know, there were so many things that happened on the show, and personally, I only really have memories of things that were happening behind the scenes, like if I was puking that day, or broke up with a boyfriend, or my dog died, and then I remember like the costume I was wearing when I had to go through that sort of thing. Like I remember we did a wedding episode, and that's the day I broke up with my boyfriend, so I hadn't slept that night. So the spells, jeez. My favorite episode is the pancake episode. I think it's because that's the first time I really got to do physical comedy. So I don't know if you guys, who remembers the pancake episode? Anyone? Yeah? So I just showed it to my 7-year-old the other day because I was trying to explain addictions to sugar and decided to use the show as an example. So the pancake episode's probably my favorite. I just love digging through the bin, like trying to find the syrup and that kind of thing. And then we did a song and dance number in that, and so it's fun.
My favorite is when we made men out of dough. And I'd still really like to be able to do that.
He likes to eat them up, too.
You were talking about favorite spells, and I have a funny story about one of the spells and what can happen in actually trying to film them. In the episode where Libby gets turned into a puzzle, the way that we shot that, there was a small, tiny little explosion that happened in front of me, and what I had to do was jump over it really quickly, and then they would use the green screen and special effects to make it look like I'd disappeared. But no one realized that the tracksuit pants I was wearing were highly flammable. So we'd done a couple takes, I think, and they'd reset it, and we went to do it, and I went to jump over it, and all of a sudden I just heard a gasp from behind me. I didn't even notice. The whole entire front of my right leg was gone. The pants just evaporated, and I did get a tiny little bit of a burn, but I was completely fine. But it was just, little things can happen, so I remembered that spell.
We almost killed a few co-stars. Remember Henry Gibson was in a coffin with dry ice, and we had closed him in there for quite a while. When we opened it, he was gasping for air. We lit someone on fire when a chair had to light on fire. We lit someone besides Jenna on fire. And the animals...
We had a lion that was in an invisible fence enclosure and just said, yeah, no, and just left.
Was that a lion or a panther? I thought it was a panther.
Panther, just running all over the stage.
And the crew had to get up on high furniture, and then an alligator attacked the couch. And when we had Salem, the puppet Salem, the animatronic, the cat was on the couch, which means Maury, our puppeteer, was under the couch. And the alligator grabbed the cushion off the couch and started doing a death roll right next to her. And she said she heard, I just talked to her the other day because we had a little impromptu reunion just amongst the crew and cast. And Maury said that she just remembers hearing someone yell, let's get Maury out of there. And she's like under the couch right next to an alligator doing a death roll. So
And I was holding the alligator on a leash at the time. So it was terrible, pretty scary.
I missed that one.
I'm gonna watch the show with a whole new appreciation of the peril that you ladies put yourselves.
very dangerous show.
We've got a question all the way in the back here. Thank you, front and center.
Hey guys, just wondering if you've seen the new Sabrina, and if so, what do you think of it?
Well, they actually Netflix flew us into LA, because we're everywhere, scattered, and asked us to watch, they put us in a room and made us watch it.
Well, not the whole snippets that they wanted us to
but
see.
they filmed our reactions to it, and we were, of course, shocked. They showed me the part where Aunt Zelda kills Aunt Hilda with a shovel, and I was like, what?
It's very dark. Yeah, it's very dark. I'm so glad it's so different. Because it's nice of you. We can't really compare them. They're so different. But when we did this thing, Nate, who plays Harvey, and I both were watching. You and Caroline were watching together, and me and Nate were watching together. And Nate and I were just going, oh, we'd never get away with that. Like, we were shown the scene where the girls lure the guys into the cave, if you guys have seen the new one, and then it turns out the guys are doing, I don't know.
I would never have let you out of the house in that outfit.
I almost got fired from the show for being on the cover of Maxim magazine, which is a men's magazine. I almost got fired from the show for that, let alone stripping naked and making out with men. Yeah.
Ours was very wholesome and family friendly, which is great because I feel like, back then and still today, there's very few shows left that you can really watch together as a family. So the new one is just different from that. It's for a very specific,
A darker family.
yeah.
Family that,
But ours, I think that's
Ours
something we
is
can
magic, and ours is magic and comedy, and like Jenna said, it's family friendly, and the new one is satanic and sexy, so it's definitely different.
It's for a different.
Still cool, but in a
Different
different
kind of,
way.
yeah.
but we wish them all the best. They're really, I know Miranda and Lucy and Kiernan, and they're just sweet, fantastic humans, so we're on their side.
Wonderful. We've got a question right here on the right in the front.
If you could do another show, what would you name it?
What would we name it? That's a loaded question.
That's a loaded question.
We don't usually get to name the shows, so.
Yeah, we
Name
don't
it
usually get
good older magic.
I would call it faking it. Imposter syndrome. There we go.
Got more questions here in the front, yes.
Sorry, what Sophie meant to say was, would you do a remake of Sabrina?
Oh, of Sabrina. We would love to, but I think, so when Sabrina came about, it was an Archie comic, and it was a comic book from the 60s or 50s, and my mother, who was the executive producer of the show, was handed the comic book on a playground where my sister went to school. Someone handed her the comic book and said, we think that this would be a great project for Melissa. I had just finished my first show, Clarissa Explains It All. And and my mother brought it to Viacom, which was a production company, and we made it as a Showtime movie. I don't know if you guys saw that one, but that's with Ryan Reynolds, and we had a different Hilda and Zelda, and
They were
and so we did the movie, and the whole time my mother was saying to the producers, we really should make this as a TV show. And they never took her seriously until she was in the editing bay with the movie, and she cut together a trailer, and just like a 3-minute trailer, and then she took it to Hollywood, and she brought it to 5 different network television stations, and 3 of them wanted the show. And so she went with ABC, who aired it in the U.S., and so she had the rights. She got the rights from the Archie comics to Sabrina. And so we had the rights for, I think, 20 years or 15 years, something like that. We did the show for 7 years. And then the rights reverted back to Archie. And that's when the Archie comics, the CEO of the Archie comics was Michael Silverclight, I think his name is. And when he passed away, his kids took over, and they started doing the darker Riverdale and all the other Archie comics. They did a different version of those comics, and so then the shows started coming out of those comics. So unfortunately, we don't own the rights anymore. So they have the rights back. They can do whatever show they want to do. So that's where they did the Netflix one that was darker. But that's based on the Chilling Adventures, a very different series of of animated, mangas, whatever you call it, comic books. But yeah, so we don't really have the rights to be able to do it again. However, if they wanted to, and there was a really great way in, I guess the short answer is yes.
I think a lot of us would say yes if the opportunity came our way.
And Melissa and I have had the great luck of being able to work together in a few different projects, and we always enjoy that. And we're here together today, so we do try to spend time together whenever we can.
And we like moving forward too. You know, as actors, it's hard to, actors want to be in other people's skin as much as possible and play so many different characters, and a lot of actors have a hard time with doing a long-running series like this because you play the same character for many, many years, and that's not really what actors crave doing. So to go back and do it again sometimes is a little bit difficult, but you keep wanting to kind of move forward and find new projects and play new characters. So that's what's exciting more to us, I think.
Yeah.
Great question. We've got another question here in the front.
Are you done? She wanted to ask what it was like working with Salem. What was your favourite memory?
Salem was a riot. He was trouble. So we had, 15 real cats, live cats. And then we had 2 puppeteer cats, and then we had 2 cats called Stuffy. So Stuffy was our stand-in. So we had a standing up and a laying down, or sitting up and laying down cat. And so Stuffy is what we used in rehearsals, or anytime you see the cat like flying behind the couch, that's Stuffy. Or being dragged by the neck or something, that's Stuffy. And you can, now when you watch the show, you can tell, like when it's the real cat, the cat would run in and like jump up on the counter, and then all of a sudden it would be the animatronic cat. And that would require 3 puppeteers. We'd have Maury under the table, she did the body and the tail, and then we had 2 gentlemen off to the side, Jim and Tom, and they had remote controls. And the remote controls, one of them did, I think,
the ears and the eyes.
Eyebrows and ears, and then there was cheeks and lips, and then we had Nick Bakay, who was supposed to be here with us today but couldn't make it, who was the voice of the cat. But he was just one of our writers, and everybody just loved his voice, so he became the voice of Salem.
Oh my God, he's so damn funny.
But now he's like one of the biggest producers in Hollywood. Some of the people that came out of this show, funny enough, were like, so Nick Bakay now runs the show Mom, but he does a lot of Chuck Lorre shows. Right now he's working on the Kaminsky Method sometimes, and I think he helps with Big Bang Theory and Young Sheldon. And then Steve Colback. Steve Colback did our special effects, and now he's one of the front card titles on Game of Thrones. Erin Kruger McCash was our makeup artist, one of our dear friends, who's now like one of the most winningest makeup artists. She does all of the American Horror Stories and anything that Ryan Murphy does. And Paul Feig.
Who did Bridesmaids and...
The director, he played Mr. Poole.
And he's now if you just Google his name, he's created...
I just did Last Christmas.
Numerous movies, television shows, he writes and
Geeks.
produces. Done a lot.
We've got another question over here on the left.
Hi. Oh, that's loud. So my question's directed to Melissa. Obviously, a lot of child actors and actresses, you hear a lot of stuff in the media about them having a difficult time, a lot of pressure going off the rails. We didn't really seem to see that much from you. Like, did you have a lot of pressure? Obviously,
I'm really good at hiding it.
I'm not asking you to tell us stuff like secrets.
Read my book. How was it? You know what? I think I'm the oldest of 8 children, and I'm lucky I have great parents and I had a good family home. And this was something I started young, but my career snowballed slowly. I did a lot of television commercials, I did a lot of theater, and then I got my first show. Clarissa was on cable in the US, which was new at the time. Nobody knew what that was. So, people didn't recognize me that often. It was once in a while. But I lived in New York City, so nobody really recognizes you in New York City. Everyone keeps their head down. But, so then I didn't live in LA, which I think was a big benefit too. Once I moved to LA just to do Sabrina, I was already 20, and acting was not something I got into to be rich and famous. It was just something I liked doing. And I think that's the difference a little bit, but also you only hear about the total wrecks. You only hear those people's names in the news when they make the news. The people that don't make the news, that are fantastic, are, like Candace Cameron and Danica McKellar and Kelly Martin, and there's so many, that, Candace very well.
Yeah, she
And-
reminds me a lot of you, actually.
So, you know, I think that there's a lot of people out there that did survive childhood acting and came back to it. But the ones that stay in it are just the persistent ones, I feel like. You know, it's not, I think a lot of people too, though, actors tend to have fragile egos. They might have egos, but a lot of people actors just tend to be a little bit more, I guess, fragile.
Sensitive.
Yeah.
Yes,
Emotional.
because we get there's a lot of rejection. When you're out there auditioning constantly, it's constant rejection. So you have to be thick-skinned in a way, but also you're always worried that you're not good enough, not the right person. Your imposter syndrome is the best way to describe it. And so I think that a lot of people, if they do have big success or they do have a big show, they can't handle the downswing of it. So a lot of it, the business is not like, it's not like a normal business where you get a promotion and you get a raise and you move to the corner office and you keep working your way up the ladder. It's very much like an up and then a down and then an up and a down. You know, and we were even talking today about when we are even having our own successes, things that we mark as our successes, not many people might know that. Like I've been directing a lot and it feels like, it just feels amazing to me to be able to direct, and I can't believe I get the opportunities I get to direct, but you guys might not know that. So it might look like, you know, sometimes we say that on Instagram, people are like, where have you been? It's like, well, you know, if you don't track our careers very carefully, you don't know where we've been or what we've been doing unless it's something huge like a franchise like Sabrina.
I also have to say, having known her all these years, that she was always very grounded and had a good work ethic. And Melissa's super intelligent, and so she was super interested in camera and film and what the director was doing, it's not a surprise that she's a director now, because she had so much interest in the technical side of it as well. So she was really absolved, and she had a very kind of full appreciation of how film and television works, and I think that was very grounding for her too.
She started directing when we were actually filming the show. She directed episodes.
Yeah, my mother being the executive producer threw me a DGA card, which is the Directors Guild, and was like, you're doing the next one. And I was like, oh, I better figure this out, okay. So she believed in me more than I believed in myself, but yeah, now I'm getting the chance I'm directing a lot of network television, like Young Sheldon, it's shows like Schooled and The Goldbergs. Do you guys know these shows? So yeah, Young Sheldon is like the spin-off of Big Bang, and so I just got to do that show. That actually aired on Thursday night in the US at least.
Did it?
Yeah, and then I have one coming out on ABC next week or in a few weeks called Schooled, which is the spin-off of Goldbergs. And so I've been doing these great shows that it's been really exciting. I'll be directing a movie again in like 3 weeks with Mario Lopez. A Christmas movie. So, yeah, I'm having some fun.
Round of applause for that. That is so amazing. Fully faceted, a Sabrina of all trades, may I say. I went with it. We've got another question right here in the front to the left.
Hiya. In the new series of Sabrina, the Netflix version, if they asked any of you to appear as a cameo, would you say yes?
Absolutely we would. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how I would fit in, but, you know, she already has aunts, and...
I mean, does the bad girl,
Who would have
a mom?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right, who would we play? Well, I don't know, could I be a mom?
I'm only going if I'm Aunt Zelda.
I would only go if I directed, I think. That would make the most sense. Like, what? Who would I be?
But they can't fit you in.
No, there's no way.
No, me they could. They could just say,
If they did some-
Aunt Zelda suddenly became ancient.
Yeah. So hard.
She looks exactly the
Stop
same.
it. Exactly the same.
You'd have to at least walk by or something, or, you know.
I mean, I would do a background thing. That would be. Well, I was really confused when they asked us to do that Netflix come and watch the video and we'll tape you watching it. I was like, what? What does that mean? But then Beth was like, I'm coming. I was like, all right, I'll do it. I don't get what this is, but if you watch, I think it's on YouTube or Facebook or something. You can find.
Yeah, on
the thing
YouTube
we
you
did.
can see us watching it and our reactions. We were
It's pretty funny.
completely shocked.
But I didn't know what it was when they asked me. They were like, will you come watch some of the new show and we'll videotape you watching it? I was like, no, that sounds creepy.
Yeah, and I'm like, what do you mean she
What if I
turned
hate
it
it?
down? I'm like, I'm calling her. I'm like, you can't, don't turn them down. We're doing this.
I didn't get it. I was like, can I talk to the cat instead? And be like, hey, the new Sabrina, pretty good, huh? Like, I'd rather do that. I was confused about this whole watching it thing.
It turned out
It's
okay.
funny, it's funny.
We've got a question here, but Tim, just so you know, we're going to go to, this young lady has had her hand up the whole time, so we'll get to you next, sweetheart. We've got a question right behind the screen.
Thing.
Hi, ladies down here. following on from that last question, obviously the extraordinary success of your Sabrina allowed you to get a near endless parade of familiar faces to guest star on your show. I'm curious for each of you, who was the best and perhaps more controversially, who was the worst guest star that you guys had on the show?
Oh!
Dangerous.
I don't know if we can talk about the worst.
Just between us.
Oh my God, we had so many great ones.
So apparently,
Johnny Mathis and George
Johnny
Wendt.
Mathis and the Monkeys, Dave Jones.
David Jones. Remember,
Violent
he
Femmes.
was so
The Violent
short.
Femmes, that was a good one.
was like my favorite.
Davy Jones was this little guy, and he was just as horny as could be. And he kept saying to me, right then, I'd like to just climb you. I'd like to just climb up you. And I was like, okay then, Davy. I don't think
That's not controversial.
No, but Caroline asked him, what's it like doing concert now? And he said, oh, they used to throw their underwear at me, you know, and their bras, and now they throw depends. He was very funny.
It was really fun also because right when we were filming the show, it was kind of the start of a lot of careers for some pretty famous music groups, the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and Britney Spears. So we kind of got to meet them all when they were first
just starting, and then we'd go out and party, and we'd be like,
Yeah,
hey,
we'd go out with
wanna come to the
them,
club
and-
with us? We're going
Yeah.
to Cherry or wherever we were going.
Exactly, but they all kind of made appearances on the show, and then we spent a little time hanging out. We went to their concerts.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
It was also really
Ate out with
easy
a few
to
of
get people
Maybe.
because their kids were addicted to the show. So people wanted to do it just to impress their children.
Yeah, I think it
'cause-
was the first episode and a bunch, I think it was the first or second, with the Witches Council, Blondie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had Penn and Teller for people.
So
who
it was
like
amazing.
magic.
Anytime we were obsessed with someone, we could have them on the show. It was kind of incredible. We actually, when there was a scene where I was supposed to meet my grandmother, and we asked Shirley Temple to do it, and she's my idol. And so we asked her, and she responded very sweetly, I'm sorry, once I quit the business, I can't go back to it. You know, everybody asks, and I can't say yes to you and no to someone else, so I'm gonna say no. But then she invited me to her house, and I got to go hang out with Shirley Temple, and she gave me the rights to do her movie, which she had never given anyone. So there's a movie called Child Star, a Shirley Temple story, I believe I know it's Child Star. But we produced that in Australia and did a nationwide search for the actress, and my little sisters played her younger, and well, one played her older, and it was just the love of my life. I was actually on the set of Sabrina when my mother came to the set and told me Shirley Temple's movie, because nobody wanted to make the movie. Everyone's very confused about what kind of movie that would be. Would it be too racy because of what she went through as a child actor, or would it be too vanilla? And finally, Disney wanted to do it as a Disney Sunday night movie for television, and my mom came to the stage and was like, we're doing the movie. And it had been like 3 years of trying to get this movie made, and I was crying, and the whole crew was like, thought someone had died, because I'm like on set like crying and tears, like, I'm gonna make Shirley Temple's movie, like I'm so excited. So that was a big thing. But she said no to Sabrina, so you did see her on Sabrina. I forget who actually played the part.
I don't know.
I forget.
We had
You guys might know.
Lonnie Anderson and
Oh my
Shelley
gosh,
Long.
that was so
and-
funny. Yeah.
Oh my
Charm.
God.
Oh, and who was my other aunt with the?
Raquel Welch.
Oh, Raquel Welch.
Oh my God, she was hilarious.
The other row.
She had this lady that was just, her only job was to hold a bucket full of makeup. And Raquel Welch just went all over the set with a mirror going, oh God, I feel so sorry for you all. Oh, this lighting is terrible.
But she would do her own
Putting
makeup.
more makeup on, it was hilarious.
Legends indeed. We've got a question right over here on the right.
This is for all of you, but what was your favourite moment when you were filming?
Oh, I know a lot of moments I didn't like. We had so much fun. We would laugh so hard. It was hard sometimes when we'd all start laughing to like button up and actually get the work done.
Caroline and I would cry our makeup off, and we'd have to go back to the makeup room and get it redone.
Caroline, who played Aunt Hilda, she says stand-up comics, so she was really hilarious. But there was a point when we'd heard her jokes like 17 times. But yeah, I mean, we just had a blast. It was the funniest thing. Oh, one of my favorite sayings that came out of it from the crew was our script supervisor, who's in charge of all the continuity, making sure that everything goes carefully through. to make sure that everything is tracking, like if you are wearing this jacket, that you wear the same jacket, you wear the same necklace, or you pick the tee up with your left hand, or whatever it is. And we'd say sometimes, like, should we have come down the front stairs because I was in my bedroom, or is the back, or if we go out this door, does that mean I have to go to the car, or can I go out the front door? And we're always trying to figure it out, and she eventually, and it's like her job to be very buttoned up, but she was like, the cat talks. Like, who cares? Who cares what door you come in? The cat talks. And that became one of my favorite things.
I'd say that I feel like I could speak for everyone that we got the chance to film an episode at Walt Disney World. And that was really great because basically the entire cast and crew,
the whole crew, which doesn't happen these days.
Everyone got on a plane, went to Florida.
Disney World opened for us extra long, so
Uh-huh.
we rode, and one of our crew members punched a hole in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
Oh, I don't remember that.
That was fun.
But we did, this was a very long time ago, but Animal Kingdom had not yet opened, so we were the first people we filmed there.
Wait,
So-
did we go on the safari ride together?
Yeah.
So we went on this safari ride, and I was supposed to be on set, and we were losing the sun, which once the sun's down, you can't shoot anymore. So we're trying to make our day, and
But we're really young, we just want to go on
the
rides.
safari ride, we were told takes 5 minutes, and it takes 25 minutes, and the whole crew is waiting for us somewhere else in Disney World, waiting to finish hopefully we can get the shot done before the sun goes down.
We got off and I hid.
We were in so much trouble.
I didn't know that. I wouldn't have let you go.
I forgot that.
No, but our tour guide with us.
We did. We had these tour guides that were so amazing, and they escorted us everywhere.
and no one
So
had
when
ever
we
been
weren't
on a ride.
working, we got to go. A little
Yeah,
special.
they were
space.
great. My tour guide was so sorry to get stuck with me because I just love to walk. She lost 7 pounds. She was like, can't we ever see a movie or go on a ride? I was like, why don't we just take another walk?
Yeah, we had a really good time.
Yeah. So that was a very, very good episode, just personally for all of us. Besides the show itself, just
The pictures from that episode are great too. All the safari outfits and yeah.
We got chased by a caveman or something. You guys brought a caveman back to life or something.
Yeah,
It was
it's
fun.
super fun.
There's a question right here in the front row.
Hello, all of you. Lovely to see you all. I just wanted to know, will you be appearing in any movies? All of, each of you.
I have a movie that opened yesterday called Becoming with a British actor named Toby Kebbell. You know who he is? He Planet of the Apes and a lot of he's a wonderful actor. So if you want to see me in a little bit of a more scary movie, Becoming just opened, and I think it's streaming simultaneously, so, and that's a good one. Melissa and I have a Christmas movie together called A Very Merry Toy Store.
Yes, we do. That my mother directed with Mario Lopez.
Mhm.
And I'm actually, this Christmas, I haven't shot it yet, but I should be doing a Christmas movie that'll be out later this year, probably around Thanksgiving. Oh, you guys don't have Thanksgiving here. Hold on.
Late November.
Late November. Will probably be a Christmas movie coming out that I'll be in, but it hasn't been filmed yet, so we're slated to do that in May, I believe. And then I'll be directing this other one with Mario Lopez that'll be out later this year as well.
Last year I did a limited series for Showtime. I don't know if you guys get Showtime out here, with Russell Crowe and Sienna Miller and Naomi Watts, called The Loudest Voice, but you can stream that on Showtime. And I just finished a film called Wild Indian that will probably be at the Sundance Film Festival, which is a big film festival for independent film.